I watched my husband comfort his mistress while I lay dying on the cold pavement of a New York street. The rain mixed with the blood pooling around me, ruining the cheap uniform I wore as a delivery driver. But fate is funny. It gave me a second chance. And this time, I am not getting mad. I am getting even. Welcome back to Midnight Cravings. I am your host. And tonight, get your snacks ready because the tea is piping hot. We are diving into a story of betrayal, obsession, and the sweetest kind of revenge. Don't forget to click that like button and subscribe for more twisted tales. Now, let's begin. My husband, Julian Sterling, the CEO of Sterling Corp., was cheating on me. It wasn't a rumor. It was a fact staring me right in the face. I walked into his office and caught Ivy, the new innocent-looking intern, kissing him. In my past life, this was the moment that destroyed me. I screamed. I cried. I demanded a divorce on the spot. That anger cost me everything. My family's company went bankrupt without the protection of the Sterling name. I was crushed by debt. I died penniless, delivering food in a storm, while Julian covered Ivy's eyes to shield her from the ugly sight of my broken body. But then, I opened my eyes. The smell of expensive leather and mahogany filled my nose. I was back in his office. I was back to the day I caught them. I saw Julian looking at me. His eyes were cold and defensive. He was expecting a fight. He asked, "What is wrong, Serena? Why are you staring? Do you want a divorce?" I didn't answer immediately. The old Serena would have thrown a vase. Instead, I walked over and gently took Ivy's trembling hand. She was kneeling on the floor, fake tears streaming down her face, begging for forgiveness. "Oh, you poor thing," I said, my voice smooth as silk, showing zero emotion. "It must be so hard taking care of Julian. He can be quite demanding. As long as he is happy, I am fine with it." The room went silent. Julian's face went pale. He pulled his hand away from Ivy and stared at me. He asked, "What did you just say?" I smiled, a perfect practice smile. I said, "I trust you, Julian. You are a busy man. If Ivy helps you relax, who am I to judge?" Ivy looked confused. She started sobbing louder, playing the victim card she had perfected. She cried, "Mrs. Sterling, please don't be mad. I am just an assistant." "Julian, I mean, Mr. Sterling." His tie was crooked. "I was just fixing it, and I tripped." "I believe you," I said, cutting her off. "I believe everything." Julian frowned. He walked around his desk, looming over me. He said, "Serena, stop it. This isn't funny. If you are angry, just scream. Don't play these mind games." He thought I was using reverse psychology. He thought I still loved him desperately. In my previous life, I did. I loved him so much it hurt. We grew up together. We were high school sweethearts before it became a marriage of convenience. I knew everything about him. I knew when his stomach hurt from stress. I knew exactly how he took his coffee. I remembered the flashbacks of how Ivy slowly infiltrated our lives. It started small. On his fountain pen, the one I bought him for our anniversary, she had placed a small heart sticker. When I asked about it, he said, "Don't be petty, Serena. It is just a sticker." Then it was the clothes. At the company gala, she bought the exact same designer dress as me, but in a smaller size. She paraded around him all night. When people mistook her for Mrs. Sterling, she just blushed and didn't correct them. And then, there was the shrimp incident. That was the moment my heart truly broke in the past life. I went to bring him medicine for his stomach ulcers. Ivy was there. That day, my lunchbox mysteriously had shrimp in it. I am deadly allergic to shellfish. The chef has worked for my family for 20 years. He would never make that mistake. It was Ivy. I knew it. But when I accused her, Julian exploded. He threw his credit card at me. He shouted, "Look at yourself, Serena. Ivy is poor. Her mother needs surgery. She is struggling to survive, and you are here acting like a spoiled princess? I am paying for her mother's surgery. Stop bullying her." He not only paid for the surgery, but promoted her to his personal executive assistant. He took her to my favorite ice cream shop in Brooklyn. On her birthday, her wish was to watch the sunset from the Ferris wheel on Coney Island. He took her. He left me alone at home to take her to a romantic sunset. Thinking about the past made my blood boil, but my face remained calm. I looked at Julian in the office and shrugged. I said, "I am not playing games, Julian. I am just tired." I am going home. As I walked out, I saw Ivy smirk. She thought she had won. She had no idea. The next morning, at the Sterling Corp headquarters, I walked straight to Ivy's desk. She jumped, looking terrified. "Secretary Ivy," I said, loud enough for the other employees to hear. "Julian is going on a business trip to Paris next week. You should go with him." Her eyes widened. She stammered, "Mrs. Sterling, are you sure?" I leaned in close, whispering into her ear like a conspiring friend. I said, "Of course. He gets lonely. Oh, and just so you know, I booked his hotel. The Ritz. His room number is 1081. Make sure you take good care of him." I patted her shoulder and walked into Julian's office. He was signing papers. "I am not going to Paris with you this time," I announced. "Ivy can handle your schedule." Julian dropped his pen. He looked at me with a mixture of suspicion and annoyance. He said, "You always go to Paris with me. It is our tradition. Are you trying to make me jealous, Serena?" "Because it is boring. I am just giving you freedom, Julian," I replied innocently. "Besides, I have classes. I enrolled in an MBA program." "MBA? You?" He scoffed. "You have never cared about business. You just care about shopping and tea parties." "People change, Julian," I said. "He went to Paris. And I went to work. Not at a job, but on my exit plan. I studied the stock market. I analyzed the assets. I prepared the divorce papers." While they were in Paris, Julian was miserable. I knew this because he kept calling me. In the past, I would call him 20 times a day, checking in, asking if he ate, asking who he was with. This time, I didn't call once. On the third night, my phone rang at a.m. It was Julian. "Did you see it?" he asked, his voice low and slightly slurred. He was drunk. "See what?" I asked, yawning. "Ivy's Instagram story," he said. I had seen it. A photo of two hands intertwined on a hotel bed, with the caption, "Paris Nights." On the man's wrist was a mole I knew intimately. It was Julian. "Oh, that?" I said, sounding bored. "I saw it. Nice manicure." There was a long silence on the other end. I could hear his breathing. "Hitch?" he asked. "That is it. You see your husband in bed with another woman, and you say, 'Nice manicure.'" "Julian, it is a.m., I said. "She probably just walked into the wrong room or something. You are a grown man. If you want to sleep with her, that is your business. Just use protection. Good night." I hung up. I turned off my phone. And for the first time in years, I slept without nightmares. When Julian returned, he was furious. He stormed into our penthouse looking for a fight, but I was busy studying for my finals. He tried to provoke me, bringing Ivy to our home for work meetings, letting her sit at the head of the table. I just served them coffee and went back to my room. The turning point came at his mother's birthday dinner. Margaret Sterling was a formidable woman. She cared about one thing only: reputation. In my past life, she turned on me the moment I caused a scene about the affair. She helped Julian destroy my family to silence me. We sat at a private table in an exclusive Manhattan restaurant. Margaret looked at my hand. She asked Serena, "Where is your wedding ring?" The table went quiet. Julian looked at me, daring me to expose him. "Oh, the diamond was loose," I lied smoothly, cutting my steak. "I sent it to the jeweler. We are actually thinking of upgrading it for our 5th anniversary. Right, Julian?" Julian clenched his jaw, but nodded. "Yes, of course." Margaret narrowed her eyes. Later, while Julian was in the restroom, she leaned over to me. She whispered, "I have heard rumors, Serena, about that trashy assistant, Ivy. Get rid of her. It looks bad for the Sterling family image." "I am trying, Mother," I whispered, looking down. "But Julian, he is very attached to her. And my family, you know, we are having financial trouble." "I don't have the power to fight him," Margaret scoffed. She pulled a checkbook out of her bag and scribbled a number. She slid it across the table. $2 million. "Take this," she said. "Help your parents. And be a good wife. Handle the situation with dignity. Don't embarrass us." I took the check. "Thank you, Mother. I will be very dignified." That night, back at the penthouse, Julian followed me into the bedroom and locked the door. He looked unhinged. "My mother gave you money?" he accused. "Is that what I am to you? A paycheck?" "It helps," I said, putting the check in my safe. "My parents need it. I paid off your family's debt." He shouted suddenly. I froze. "What?" The $50 million your father owes the bank, he said. I paid it off this morning. I stared at him. In my past life, that debt was the chain he used to enslave me. He held it over my head, threatening to bankrupt my parents if I ever left him. Why? I asked. Because I want us to go back to how we were. He grabbed my shoulders, shaking me slightly. I fired Ivy. I sent her away. I haven't slept with her, Serena. That photo in Paris? She snuck in while I was passed out. I threw her out the second I woke up. I am clean. I only want you. He looked desperate. He said, I realize my mistake. You have been so cold lately. It is killing me. Please, stop punishing me. I paid the debt. You are free. But please, choose to stay. I looked into his eyes. He actually believed he was the victim. He thought throwing money at the problem would fix the years of emotional abuse. Okay, I lied. I let him hug me. I felt his heart racing. Okay, Julian, we can try. But inside I was calculating. The debt was gone. My parents were safe. I didn't need him anymore. A week later, tragedy struck. Or rather, karma. Ivy, having been fired and blacklisted from every company in New York thanks to Julian, went insane. She blamed me, of course. She waited outside the Sterling Corp. building in a rented truck. When Julian and I walked out to his Rolls Royce, she slammed on the gas. She was aiming for me. But at the last second, Julian saw her. He didn't jump away. He grabbed me and shielded my body with his. He spun us around so his back took the full impact of the truck. The sound of metal crunching and bones breaking filled the air. I woke up in the hospital with minor concussions. Julian was in a coma. His mother, Margaret, had a heart attack when she heard the news and died on the operating table. Suddenly, the board of directors looked at me. I was the wife, the devoted wife who nearly died with her husband. I was the sole heir to the Sterling Empire until Julian woke up, and I used that power. I fired every executive who had ever disrespected me. I liquidated assets. I moved millions into offshore accounts for my future children. When Julian finally woke up 3 weeks later, he was weak, covered in casts. He couldn't speak yet. He watched the news on the hospital TV. The media was praising me as the angel of Sterling Corp, the woman standing strong by her cheating husband's side. He looked at me, tears streaming down his face. His hands shook as he typed on his phone and showed me the screen. The text read, "I love you. I saved you. Can we start over now?" I looked at the text. Then I looked at him. I sat down on the edge of the bed and picked up an apple, slowly peeling it with a sharp knife. "Julian," I whispered, "do you know why I didn't get mad this time? Do you know why I let you go to Paris with her?" He stared at me confused. "Because I don't love you," I said calmly. "I haven't loved you since the day you let me die on that street in the rain." His eyes widened in horror. The machine monitoring his heart rate started beeping faster. "I am filing for divorce, Julian. I have already prepared the papers. Since you saved my life, I won't take everything. I will leave you the company name. But the liquid assets, the real estate, the shares, they are mine." He tried to speak, choking on the tube in his throat. He shook his head violently. "No, it won't sign." "Then we burn together," I said, slicing a piece of apple and eating it. "You want a wife who looks at you with disgust every day? Fine, keep me." Months passed. Julian recovered, but he was a broken man. He became obsessed with me, following me everywhere, begging, pleading. One afternoon, I walked out of my final exam for my MBA. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the campus. A young man approached me. He was tall, wearing a simple white shirt, looking nervous. "Serena?" he asked. I stopped. "Yes? You probably don't remember me," he said. "You sponsored my scholarship 10 years ago. I am Leo. I just wanted to say thank you. You changed my life." He looked at me with such pure, innocent admiration. It was a look I hadn't seen in years. "I would love to take you for coffee," he stammered. "Just to say thanks." I smiled, about to answer, when a black shadow fell over us. "Get away from her." Julian appeared out of nowhere. He punched Leo in the face, knocking the poor boy to the ground. Julian's eyes were wild, bloodshot. He grabbed my wrist, dragging me toward his car. "He was flirting with you," he screamed. "You smiled at him. You never smile at me anymore." He shoved me into the passenger seat and locked the doors. He drove fast. "Julian, stop," I shouted. "You are crazy. This is why I can't be with you." He slammed on the brakes, pulling over to the side of the cliff road. He turned to me, sobbing uncontrollably. "I know," he screamed. "I know I am crazy, but I can't lose you again." He gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white. Then, he said something that made my blood freeze. "I am sorry for the shrimp. I am sorry I covered Ivy's eyes instead of holding your hand when you died. I am sorry I let you die in the rain, Serena." The car went silent. The only sound was the ocean crashing below us. I stared at him. "What did you say?" He looked at me, defeated. "I remember," he whispered. "I came back too. I was reborn, just like you." My breath caught in my throat. "I woke up in the hospital after the crash in this life," he confessed. "But my memories, they came back from the last life. I remember how miserable I was after you died. I spent years trying to find you in the afterlife. I realized too late that you were the only one. I came back to fix it. I thought if I paid the debt, if I saved you from the truck, you would forgive me." I looked at this man. This monster who thought breaking me was a form of love. He thought that by manipulating the timeline, he could own me again. "You remember?" I asked quietly. "Yes," he said. "Every moment." The regret ate me alive. "Good," I said, cold-heartedly. "Then you know exactly why I can never love you." I reached into my bag and pulled out the divorce papers again. "If you truly love me, Julian, if you truly regret what you did to me in that past life, let me go." He looked at the papers. He looked at me. He saw the resolve in my eyes. He saw that the Serena who worshipped him was dead, killed by his own hands in a previous timeline. With a trembling hand, he took the pen. "If I sign this," he choked out. "Will you be happy?" "Yes," I said. He signed. I didn't wait. I opened the car door and stepped out into the fresh air. A black SUV pulled up behind us. It was my security team. "Goodbye, Julian," I said, not looking back. I left the country that night. I moved my parents to a quiet villa in Switzerland, far away from the toxic world of New York high society. I finished my degree. I started my own investment firm. Julian Sterling spends every day searching for a ghost. He keeps my room in the penthouse exactly as I left it. He visits the spot where I died in the previous timeline every year, leaving white roses. But Serena, she doesn't exist for him anymore. I am finally living for myself. I travel, I laugh, and sometimes I think about that young student, Leo. Maybe I will call him. After all, I have a whole new life to live, and that, my friends, is how you serve revenge. Not with a scream, but with a smile. Not with a weapon, but with a signature. What would you have done in Serena's shoes? Would you have forgiven him after he saved your life? Or is a cheater always a cheater, no matter the timeline? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this roller coaster of a story, smash that like button and subscribe to Midnight Cravings. Turn on notifications so you never miss the drama. Until next time, stay safe and watch your back.